In this video, I'm going to show you how I made Pegasus, the winged horse. It was a pretty tough process. I thought I'd manage to do it in a day, but it ended up taking at least 3. But I learned a lot along the way, and I'm going to share that knowledge with you now. Now, this isn't a detailed follow-along tutorial, it's more a breakdown with hints and tips. If you want more detailed tutorials, then check out the links in the description, the playlist on this channel, and my website for more great content. This video is made possible by the sponsors of this channel, Nvidia and PC Specialist. As I'm sure you're aware, Blender's performance is greatly increased by Nvidia RTX cards. This is me in the viewport, in cycles, and it's pretty much giving me real-time feedback. This has got a hair particle system on it, loads of transparent textures. It's absolutely amazing. And if I'm honest, I would have probably given up on this project if it weren't for this performance. PC Specialist are an Nvidia Studio partner and leading system builders, selling a range of customizable PCs that perform amazingly with Blender. They specialize in custom PCs and laptops for creators and gamers. So configure your next Nvidia RTX system using PC Specialist online configurator today. So let's take you through how I made Pegasus. The first stage of the process is to make the base mesh. I've shown that process in Make Animals in Blender the Easy Way video. Check the link in the description for that. And now I'm going to show you the much more detailed way of making animals, and you obviously end up with a much more detailed model. Once we've got that base mesh, I add a bit of detail to it and even out some of the faces. The sculpting process I'm using is the multi-resolution workflow, and it's a lot easier to sculpt on an even mesh when using that technique. It's far more predictable in terms of how much detail you expect to find in certain areas. To do this, I generally use loop cuts and the knife tool, and I make sure the whole topology is kept to quads, as the multi-resolution prefers that. I got rid of the small tail section as I don't need it, so I just filled that face in. Now, I did add some extra topology around the mouth and the eyes because I know that I'm going to want to sculpt fine detail in those areas. Having some extra topology there will allow me more detail in the multi-resolution modifier. The topology isn't amazing, but you don't have to worry too much about that in the multi-resolution modifier. You just must make sure that it's all quads. So once I've done that, I'm ready for the multi-resolution modifier, but before doing that, I subdivide it with a subdivision surface modifier. That allows me to go much higher with the multi-resolution modifier, so I don't need too many levels and it will still perform well. Check out my video about how insane the multi-resolution modifier is these days to find out more about that. I forgot to apply my mirror, so I had to go back and apply that, of course. So now I'm all ready for sculpting, and I've got a multi-resolution modifier on there with a couple of levels. I tried out a few matte caps and then started the sculpting process. Matte caps are just the material that's used when you're sculpting, and it sometimes helps you visualize and see the form. I won't show you the whole sculpting process, but you can see here I'm still using my reference images. I think it's so much easier to have some references of the side and front and so forth. It's difficult enough to get the horse's anatomy without those, so having the base shape right is a big help. I of course had a huge amount of reference images that I referred to all the time, and they were on a separate screen. I follow the same usual process that I always do, so get the base shape first. Now I'm working on the muscles, and I find the inflate tool and the crease brush really helpful for this. Now I've sped this up to 3000%, so you can kind of get an idea of how long it took me. And this is kind of the second stage of detail. I've only got one subdivision on my multi-resolution modifier. Of course it has been subdivided before that, but you can still see the faces, so you can see that it's fairly low res. As I start to get the shape of the eye socket, I like to put an eye in, of course, and then I can sculpt around it. And you can start to see a bit of stretching in the polygons here, and often that's the time where you can start upping the resolution. So I finish other aspects of the mesh before coming back to the more detailed sections such as the eyes with an increased resolution. So at this point I'm ready for more subdivisions, so I go up to 4 levels, and I can really get in there and start doing some fine details. Again, a lot of focus on my reference images, looking at muscle structures and where you're going to get dents and protrusions. I find this bit really exciting and interesting, and the objects often come to life at this point. It was very tempting to go really far with this and start adding the micro details, the hair and the things like that, but it was important not to go too far because I wasn't sure how the wings were going to attach and things like that, so I had to start that process. But here's my progress up to this point. And here's me making the wings with just a simple plane, stretching it out, and then I use a solidify modifier in a moment just to get the shape. Then I started to model the individual feathers because I wanted this to be really detailed. My initial idea was to sculpt the feathers, so I was making the base mesh and then I would go in and sculpt them. This, however, turned out to be a bad idea because it was just way too high poly and it actually started to lag even on this machine. To be fair, it was keeping up, but every time I duplicated the feather, It took just a few moments, and I thought that's going to take absolutely ages to build the wings this way. But I feel it's important to show this process, how you can go through iterations, different ideas, and even so-called experts such as me. We really don't know as much as you'd think. And there's loads of trial and error to these processes. I decided to make feather groups, and then I could place them onto the wing. And I realised at this point that the wing's the wrong shape because it just needs that initial bone and muscular structure at the front, and then the feathers come off that. So I reshaped the wing and started placing the feathers, and this is where I started to come across a few problems. It was really only when I was duplicating the feathers that I noticed a bit of lag. It wasn't too much lag, but it was enough to make me think I need to think of a different approach. You can also see that I've got a decimate on there and a mirror modifier, and that was probably slowing things down as well. Now the good thing about this is they are all linked duplicates, those that are the same of course. That was really important because if I wanted to make any changes to the feathers, then I can just change one and it would update on all of them. So I was confident that even if I put these into position, if I didn't like them, I could just remodel them, and all that hard work of putting them into position wouldn't be wasted. There was probably an easier way, maybe an array along a curve or something like that would have been more successful. I also tried a particle system with the feathers, but I couldn't get the feathers to go in the direction that I wanted with the particle system, and then I realised the hair particle system with some clumping might be successful. So I tried that, did some weight painting so the particles only appeared on a certain section, used the hair grooming system to make sure the hair was pointed in the right way. Hadn't used that much before and that was quite fun. The slight problem with that is that you can't change certain aspects of your hair particles once you've groomed them, so you have to make sure you're happy with them. And it seemed to work, so at this point I thought maybe I need to change up the feathers and make them actual transparent textures. So I used a feather texture I found from textures.com and then just mapped my UVs to the feathers. Once I mapped the UVs, I used a color ramp to change the intensity of the alpha, because the alpha is using the black from the texture as the transparency, so I can increase that with that color ramp. Now, as I was saying, the beauty of the linked duplicates, I could take this texture that I've created and just copy it out into my groups. So I've created this texture, I can repeat it, and you can see it updating on my link or instances, and then I can change the texture around for these different feathers in the group, and that updated all my feathers, which you'll see in a moment. But for now, here's the tail section. I made the tail section separate as well as the wings because that's going to have a hair particle system attached to it, and you can see me adding that here. Hair particles can be a bit of a pain, and that's why I'm so glad I was using a really powerful computer with the RTX card inside it. It meant I got a quick response and I was able to see what it looked like fairly quickly. I like how the hair ended up for the tail. I think that was quite successful, but it was hard to get the right sort of stiffness and quality steps and things like that, and hopefully that will come with a bit more experience from me. I used the hair grooming system again, and I did the same process for the hair on the mane and the fringe. I copied a small amount of the mesh to make the hair object, and then used that for the particle system. The one thing I wasn't particularly happy with the hair was the collisions. It still seemed to dig into the mesh every now and again, and I'm assuming that's something to do with the quality steps, but I wasn't really sure until the final render, and that's when I started to notice it a bit more. So if I were to do this again, I'd go back and change some of those settings. But I was happy enough at this point to go back to the sculpting and finish that off. So here's the finished sculpt, and you can see I've added a bit of detail just with some texture brushes, just for a bit of variation in the mesh, and to add the illusion of a bit of hair. I used a texture brush, just like this, and with that was able to just add a little bit of hair around the place. It only adds a tiny bit of an element when it's baked out, but it helps with the final result. I've also added a few veins in there, in some cases using a texture brush with a vein texture on, in other cases just drawing slight lines, again just to try and give it some realism. So here's the final textured horse, and here's the node setup. I baked out the textures from the high poly, so here's the ambient occlusion, the cavity. You can hardly see anything here, but when I zoom in you can see some of that detail from our fine sculpt, and of course the normals, and you can see a bit more of that detail there. That combined with the colour, you get the final result that looks like this. So when we add the wings in, it ends up looking like this. I also did some texture painting, so you can see the painted texture here. I used some stencils, so you can see this horse's face here. I just used that as a stencil to overlap the face, using the clone stamp brush as well, and it's fairly decent for the amount of detail it adds. I showed that process much more in my Making Animals Surprisingly Easy video, so do check that out if you want to learn more. And for the other texture, I cut out a section of a photograph of a horse's body and just repeated that over and over. Obviously I've added a little bit of pink in areas, some spots and things like that, but generally speaking it was fairly quick and simple. I was getting pretty excited how it was working out as it looked quite good, so I thought I'd jump into the animation process. I really wanted some animation of the wings and the hair flowing around, but at this point I had spent at least 2 days on this project already, and I'd only allocated 1 day. And I knew the animation was going to be hard. I started rushing it a bit, hoping that it would just work out. But then I kind of went back to the fundamentals in my head, thinking, right, I've got to map out the key poses and then start working on the in-between frame. For the rig, I used the Rigify horse armature, so it was nice and easy, and the skinning and weight painting was nice and easy as well. For the wings, I used bendy bones. That's the first time I've ever used them, and it seemed quite successful. I saw that on a CG Cookie tutorial when they were creating some wings, so I kind of copied them. I was really nervous about the animation process for the wings because I thought that's going to be so important, and is it going to work that well with these transparent textures of the feathers? But in the end, that turned out to be probably the easiest bit. I looked at an animation of a swan flapping its wings and got kind of the key poses from there. And surprisingly, it kind of just worked out. I repeated the poses and just changed them slightly, and it seemed to all fit in and work quite well. All that was left was to do the rendering, and then change a few bits, and then render again, and then change a few bits and render again. And I think I did that about 5 times, which again is really nice when you've got a fast machine and it does it reasonably quickly. Although with all the complexity of this model, it did still take about 10 seconds per frame. So there we have it, the final finished model. I hope you enjoyed going through the process with me. I must admit it was very tough, and I kind of have a new appreciation for those that are learning new things, as there were lots of things in this that were fairly new to me or I hadn't used in a long time, and I was really appreciative of all the tutorials and the stack exchange and so forth when I was researching how to do the different things or why on earth were things not working. So it just goes to show how important the community is. So thanks for watching, thanks for all your support, hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time.